Influencer Who, where we talk about news and influencers, from celebrity to social media. Let's get into it. Hello, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Today, we're going to talk about a parrot who saved his owner, Burger King telling customers to buy from competitors, and then Johnny Depp's court battle against a newspaper publisher. So let's get into it. Taking place in Australia, a man was woken up by his pet parrot named Eric, screaming and yelling after an initial bang. Not sure what the bang was. It could very well have been the bird. Well, it was the bird, but what was he doing? I don't know. What you can only think, I guess, what he could have been doing, rattling his cage. I don't know what that big bang was. So it's just fascinating how smart these animals are. The man woke up and smelled smoke, and that was enough for him to be like, nope. So he rushed and grabbed his bird. When he went outside his room, he could see flames at the back of his house. And at that point, I would literally probably schniz myself, okay? He then grabbed his bag and got out of there. Eric, his heroic little parrot, had alerted him before even the smoke alarms. How awesome is that? It's so cool to see when animals actually seem to have the ability, like some human emotion, something like that, I guess. Their instincts are so on point. Like maybe it's just survival. But when you see untrained dogs saving kids or cats waking up their owners when they sense danger, it just makes you wonder what really goes on in their heads. And we don't really know. But it's so fascinating because some animals are just astonishing in the things that they do. And then other ones just don't do anything at all. Now, the COVID virus seems to have left his shoes at the doorway of all of our lives, all cozied up and not leaving anytime soon. It's leaving England to go into their second lockdown, which is something America should be doing for at least 2 months. We need a good, hard lockdown. People are going to have to start taking it seriously, which I don't think people are. Not enough people are. There's some that are. There's some people that just... I personally know of people who think it's a hoax. You say that trigger word COVID around them and they just go off into a rant of how much bullcrap it is. Then I know people who are actually taking it seriously. One of these people is an EMT and they have to face the virus almost every day with patients. And they went to New York a few months back during the middle of the pandemic. And if you try to tell them this virus is a hoax of any kind, it's because a lot of these people who are saying it's a hoax and all this, it's because maybe it hasn't affected them directly or whatnot. But I just don't understand how you can say that it's a hoax. I mean, someone around you has been affected because of the virus and it's ongoing. Burger King has been asking customers to go to their competitors. And I'm going to read a tweet that they posted on Twitter. And they said something like, well, no, I'm going to read it verbatim. It says, "We never really thought we'd be asking you to do this, just like we never thought we'd be encouraging you to order from KFC, Subway, Domino's Pizza, Pizza Hut, Five Guys, Greg's, Taco Bell, Papa John's, Leon, or any of the other independent food outlets. Too numerous to mention here. In short, from any of our sister food chains, fast or not so fast. We never thought we'd be asking you to do this, but restaurants employing thousands of staff really need your support at the moment. So if you want to help, keep treating yourself to tasty meals through home delivery, takeaway, or drive-thru. Getting a Whopper is always best, but ordering a Big Mac is also not such a bad thing. Take care. Team Burger King UK." So I thought that was actually really cool that they decided to be open and caring about this. And that's what we needed to see during hard times like this. We need to see big corporations do things like this. They're not being greedy or whatever. So it's just, it's a wonderful thing to know that the world isn't all hard and man eat man. And you would think from Burger King, it's such a huge franchise that they wouldn't post something like this. You wouldn't expect it, but they did. And that's awesome and good on them. And in turn, it's just going to make them look really good, right? So win-win situation in my opinion. But we can at least say that it seems as though the virus has brought out both the worst and best in people. It's a true test that some people have already failed, to be honest. Take the virus seriously so we can have a chance of living a normal life, people. We need to get it at least underway a little bit. Okay, let's move on now to our main topic today. Johnny Depp, 57, and really in a pickle. I'd say he made it out good for being such a celebrity and being as unproblematic as he has been, which is why I think it was hard for so many people to believe he was abusing Amber Heard before and during their relationship. We're going to go through a little bit about Depp's history and then get right into what's happening now. Stick to the very end so you can hear how my interview went with an avid fan of Johnny Depp, mostly for his Pirates of the Caribbean movies. If you haven't heard it by now, Johnny has been accused of hitting Amber Heard by Amber herself, and among other things. When I first heard about this, it was a bit hard to believe because of his track record. I mean, I hadn't ever heard of him doing anything close to what she was accusing him of. I thought of him, as probably most people did, just as this laid-back, chill of a guy. Someone who didn't really want problems, and someone who sat on the floor and played Barbies with his little girl, as I read in one article. I will say, though, I never really thought too much of what kind of person Johnny was behind the celebrity, facade, other than maybe a drinker. I admired him for the way he created the role of Captain Jack Sparrow in Pirates of the Caribbean. He explained how he did it on Oprah, which I watched the interview a few years ago. Now I'm going to read a little snippet from this site called Greek Tyrant, an article they posted. Captain Jack Sparrow has never been portrayed the way Disney intended. Johnny Depp appeared on set, saw the script, and then decided he wanted to do something completely different. A lot of people have attributed to his character portrayal to that of Rolling Stones guitarist Keith Richards, but there's a little more behind how Depp created the character. This is what Johnny said on how he came up with the character. In the original screenplay, Captain Jack was written as a swashbuckler, a pirate who swings in, sort of fights a little bit, and then swings out, grabs a girl, and that's it. I had different ideas for him. This sounds weird, but Captain Jack was born in a sauna. My sauna. I was looking at various aspects of the character, and I figured this guy has been on the high seas for the majority of his life, and therefore has dealt with inescapable heat to the brain. So I cranked the sauna up to about 1,000 degrees and sat in there as long as I could, until it started to affect me mentally. It was very, very hot, as was my brain. While you're in there in that kind of heat, you can't stand still. But the worst of it is if you move, it kills you. So that gave me the idea that his brain has been parboiled to some degree. Also, in terms of his body language, I felt that when he was on the ship, he would be fine as the ship would be bounding away. He would have sea legs, but when he gets on land, he cannot get land legs. He would be looking wobbly, and Disney disagreed. Disney and others did not like how Johnny had made the pirate look. There was a ton of criticism, and Johnny basically told them to fire him because he wouldn't play it any other way. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I don't think I could see Captain Jack Sparrow in any other way. It's just embedded in my brain. It worked so well. I think he did brilliant. But let's go ahead and move on and learn a little more about Johnny's timeline here, and then we'll get into the creme de la creme. So he's best known for, of course, Pirates of the Caribbean, but also for Alice in Wonderland, Sweeney Todd, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Edward Scissorhands, and maybe even for the animated film Ringo, where he voiced, the main character Ringo. It's just been a lot. He's been in so much and has such a great career thus far. He's been with Winona Ryder, Lori Allison, Sherilyn Fenn, and of course, dun dun dun, Amber Heard. He has 2 children with Vanessa I think it's Paradis or Parody, where you don't see anything about past domestic claims or anything really. The stunning Winona Ryder even had something to say about these most recent claims against Johnny. By the way, Winona and Johnny were together for 4 years. So she says that, and I'm quoting this, "I can only speak from my own experience, which was wildly different than what is being said. I mean, he was never that way towards me, never abusive at all towards me. I only know him as a really good, loving, caring guy who's very, very protective of the people that he loves. It's hard because I feel like that's my experience, and it's been a very long time. I wasn't there. I don't know what happened. I'm not calling anyone a liar. I'm just saying it's difficult and upsetting for me to wrap my head around it. Look, it was a long time ago, but we were together for 4 years, and it was a big relationship for me." This was posted in an article, which is called Her, just literally Her. So that's the name of the site? No idea. Anyways, what do you guys think? I will try to get my thoughts on this, but first I want to clarify more of the claims that are taking place against Johnny. Okay, Heard and Depp began dating in 2012 after filming a movie together. This was also when Johnny had just ended a 12 to 14 year long relationship. Holy moly, long time. Anyways, this is how he came to have 2 children as well. Now, at the same time, Amber split off with the guy she was also seeing, and she had charges against her for assault in this relationship. Those charges got dropped, which seems fishy to me. But let's keep going. In 2015, they married privately, and then in 2016, Amber filed for divorce. This is the time when Amber started coming out publicly about Johnny's abusive behaviors. Now, here's all Amber's claims against Johnny. And there's probably more than this. Depp threw his phone at her, leaving her with a bruised face. And then she claimed that she still had scars on her arms and feet from an incident where Depp allegedly threw her through a ping pong table and dragged her through broken glass. Those are from what I could find, but there were text messages and voice messages, all these exchanges between the couple. And it seemed to show her being a bit more abusive, to be honest. And you can find these, you can access these. Just type it right into Google or go on YouTube and you have people commenting and talking about this as well. And then you can form your own idea and opinion, your own gut instinct on this whole situation. So these are from January 2020 when they were with one another. And it is said that you can hear Amber smacking or hitting Johnny, which Amber later admitted to doing so. So I'm going to go and I'm just going to say Amber and then I'm going to read what she said. And then I'm going to go to Johnny and read what he said and so on and so forth. So let's go and start with Amber. Amber, I'm sorry that I didn't hit you across the face in a proper slap, but I was hitting you. It was not punching you. Babe, you're not punched. I don't know what the motion of my actual hand was, but you're fine. I did not hurt you. I did not punch you. I was hitting you. Johnny, I left last night. Honestly, I swear to you, because I just couldn't take the idea of more physicality, more physical abuse on each other. Because had we continued it, it would have gotten effing bad. And baby, I told you this once. I'm scared to death we are effing crime scene right now. Amber, I can't promise you I won't get physical again. God, I effing sometimes get so mad I lose it. So I didn't probably portray those very well, but because I would assume that Amber sounded a little more angry, and Johnny is a little more lax and laid back, kind of like how he talks, like, I left last night, honestly. But so we're going to move on. So as of right now, Johnny has just lost his case against the news group newspapers. It's the publisher of The Sun, and it's over an article that was published in 2018 where it made bold claims on Johnny's abuse towards Amber. So bold that they even called him a wife beater, by the way. So Depp sued both the publisher and The Sun's executive editor, I think Dan Wooten or something like that, for libel. I'm going to go ahead and read from the article published by Insider, which explains how it all went down. And it's a little lengthy, but it's interesting as well. Writer in Parody, or Paradis, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing her name right, but she's the mother of Depp's 2 children, and they were together for a good amount of time. But they both provided statements in Depp's defense during this whole court hearing. So Ryder wrote, "The idea that he is an incredibly violent person is the farthest thing from the Johnny I knew and loved. I cannot wrap my head around these accusations." Meanwhile, Parody wrote that Heard's accusations are nothing like the true Johnny I have known, and from my personal experience of many years, I can say he was never violent or abusive to me. The trial began in early July and lasted 3 weeks. Depp alleged that Heard defecated in his bed and punched him, which Heard denies. Depp also accused Heard of having extramarital affairs with James Franco and Elon Musk, which Heard also denies. Heard, meanwhile, accused Depp of physically abusing her and has also accused him of throwing a phone at her face, which she says left her bruised. Furthermore, Heard said that Depp threatened to kill her on several occasions. 3 months after the blockbuster trial began, Judge Mr. Justice Nicole ruled that The Sun was correct in responding that Depp was violent towards his ex, Amber Heard. In reaching his ruling, Nicole referred to 14 separate incidents that the Sun's lawyer cited to justify calling Depp a wife-beater. Following the ruling, a spokesman for the Sun said, "The Sun has stood up and campaigned for the victims of domestic abuse for over 20 years. Domestic abuse victims must never be silenced, and we thank the judge for his careful consideration and thank Amber Heard for her courage in giving evidence to the court." In a statement seen by the BBC, Heard's lawyer in the U.S. said, "For those of us present for the London High Court trial, this decision and judgment are not a surprise. Very soon we will be presenting even more, just a lot more evidence, guys. We are committed to obtaining justice for Amber Heard in the U.S. court and defending Miss Heard's right to free speech." Johnny Depp has strenuously denied all claims that he was violent towards Heard. And in a statement published shortly after the ruling, his lawyer said, "This decision is as perverse as it is bewildering." Most troubling is the judge's resilience on the testimony of Amber Heard and corresponding disregard of the mountain of counter-evidence from police officers, medical practitioners, her own former assistant, other unchallenged witnesses, and an array of documentary evidence which completely undermined the allegations, point by point. All of this was overlooked. The judgment was so flawed that it would be ridiculous for Mr. Depp not to appeal this decision. In the meantime, we hope that in contrast to this case, the ongoing libel proceedings in America are equitable, with both parties providing full disclosure, rather than one side strategically cherry-picking what evidence can and cannot be relied upon. Depp has also launched a $50 million case against Heard in the U.S. over a column she penned for the Washington Post about her experience as a victim of domestic violence. While Depp is not named in Heard's piece, his legal team insists that it is strongly inferred that the article is about him. Okay, wow, so that's a lot to take in, am I right? All of that right there. I want to add that during Heard and Depp's relationship, she did cheat on him at least a couple of times. It's right on camera. You can see the security camera where James Franco, the actor, is standing next to her entering the place her and Johnny shared. There's also text messages out there showing Heard's and Elon Musk's private chats. And so it shows them in the elevator. It shows James Franco and her in the elevator, and the way he puts his hands on her, it seems a little more than friendly. So I will say that. And then the text messages between Heard and Elon Musk is very, it's also kind of, you can tell he's very interested in her and she's kind of dragging him along. So like I said before, all this information, you can find this and see for yourself what their private messages were together. And that's what surprises me so much with this case, because how could they not have this all out there in the open? I mean, it is all out there in the open, but why couldn't that be used in the case? How could she just outright deny that she cheated when it seems that, well, it's pretty obvious that she did? I guess there's not cameras inside the room, so you can't really know if she really did or not, but the text messages, between her and Elon Musk, and then how James Franco's hand placements, all these, more than friendly gestures seems a little, just doesn't line up with her denying that she cheated. What else were they doing in that, and taking him up to the elevator, having him in the elevator, taking him up to a room or wherever they were going, right? So what else would they be doing? I wouldn't understand that. So I'd like to see her try to talk about that. What kind of things she's going to say about that. I'm pretty sure she'll probably stuff food in her mouth, because that's what she did during her interrogation, or whatever that was, when she was being questioned by investigators. So the fact that she denies those claims makes her lose credibility in my eyes. There's clear-cut evidence on this, and I'm just a bit jaw-dropped that the court didn't spend more time understanding any of this. Like I said, it almost seemed like they didn't want to piss around with any of it. And because the Sun, like they said, has always taken up for women in abuse, the judge probably took that into heavy consideration as well. In another article I read earlier today, it said something about how it was proven that Johnny sort of lost his mind and was on so many drugs and drinking himself stupid. It was said that the allegation that Amber shat in the bed to get back at him, was probably one of the animals, so they threw that to the side. But they talked about how Depp cut his finger and wrote obscene threats to her on the wall, as well as doing that same thing, like writing those threats out to her, but with his pee. So when he'd pee, he'd write threatening things out to her. It was also said from one of Johnny's friends, which is Tim Burton's wife, that he would own up to any claims that were actually true, and that he wouldn't even be fighting it as hard as he is if it were indeed true. So if these allegations that Amber has against, like these claims that she has against Johnny, if they were true, he'd own up to them. But since they're not true, he's going to fight it, and he's fighting it hard. I also heard about how his kids in school are getting bullied because these kids, they're saying your dad's a wife beater. And I know that Johnny was worried about his children's well-being at school and their social life, and he brought that up to Amber, and he wanted this to be not so public as it is. And the reason why it's so public is, well, you're a celebrity, so it's kind of hard not to keep it under the rug. But Amber seemed to really want to blow this up, unless I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure, because he really didn't want to have it all out there in the open. And he said that to her. And she kind of wrote him off, and you could see his interest it lies with his children, but she didn't care. She didn't care about his children's well-being or anything like that. So if that tells you anything about the kind of character that she is, so in my eyes, she's just not looking very good, okay? My thoughts on this, I watched both Amber and Johnny's questions with detectives. Like I mentioned before that they did that. And I don't think it would even take a detective to see how she's clearly trying to lie. It's very obvious. She was even eating at one point in time, which shows like she didn't even care. And the way she was eating it, it's her mannerisms, her body language. It was almost as a way to bypass time so she could take more time for some grand lie or for it all to make sense. I came into this whole thing with an open mind, or I definitely tried to. I didn't even know who Amber was, by the way, and I wasn't like super huge on Johnny. I think he's a fine actor. I've always thought he was a fine actor, absolutely. But I wouldn't rule out he could have these types of behaviors behind closed doors. Yes, I thought he was chill and laid back, that sort of guy, but anyone can put on a face, especially for the camera. Despite me knowing more about Johnny and liking his work, I did try to come into this case without being biased, into the situation and judging it without being biased. From what I can tell, and sadly, the cards are stacked against him, I think Johnny could very well be right in this case. I can't or won't say for sure, but my gut tells me that there's something sneaky about Amber Heard that I just can't shake off. What do you think, given all of this, and then maybe research you've done on your own? Let me know what your opinion is, or if you think that Amber's right. I'm interested to see where people's opinions are lying, or where their gut's telling them to go, and who to believe. Because right now, there's so many allegations and claims being thrown around. And then this case that just happened, that he lost in, does not help at all. It kind of just rehashed everything. So we're going to leave it at that, because we talked about everything we could talk about. And I'm thinking he's probably going to still try to go against this. And I hope that no matter what, I hope the truth comes out. I hope it's all laid out there, because this is just ridiculous, you guys. I'm sure you agree. Okay, guys, so here's the interview portion you've all been waiting for. No, I'm just kidding. But this is my fiance, and we're just going to ask him some questions. I figured that'd be fun. He's a kind of big, I guess, Johnny Depp fan. I don't know. How would you say what kind of fan you are with Johnny Depp? Do you just like his work, or you just like him in Pirates of the Caribbean?
Primarily Pirates of the Caribbean, but okay. I like a lot of his other stuff too.
Yeah, you just like him as an actor, right?
Yeah.
Especially, doesn't he work a lot with like Tim Burton?
Mm-hmm.
He's like the
go-to. I think he's a good character actor.
Yeah. It's almost like he makes characters for him in a way, right?
Yeah.
So, okay. So I'm just going to ask you some questions, some easy questions, and get you out of here so you can just go live your life, okay? I'm kidding. All right, so about all of this, so I heard about the whole Amber Heard making claims against him, all this abuse that he's supposedly done all that. I heard all that from you, I believe. Isn't that? You're the one who told me about it. You're like, hey,
probably.
get this.
I was reading about it quite a bit.
Okay, so then how did you initially feel, or how do you feel about like all of it? Like, do you think Amber Heard's sketchy, or just kind of like all of that's creaky right there?
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it in anyway, but yeah. So like, what's just your feeling on it? I guess.
I don't know. I feel like if you kind of like analyze the way that she moves, it kind of seems like she's trying to get the role in a part. Yeah. So I find everything that she said during the stuff very unbelievable.
Well, bad acting too, by the way.
Yeah.
She was getting so criticized for those. Did you watch the YouTube ones that they have of her or whatever? Maybe?
Yeah, like the trial portion or whatever.
Well, I watched the ones where she was like getting investigated by investigators, and she had her lawyer there and everything. She was eating food. I think
you showed me that.
Yes. Well, I found it ridiculous. She was eating food, but she was getting so much backlash because people were saying that she was just bad at acting. Yeah. She couldn't even like cover her butt on that. So yeah, so you don't think Johnny Depp's really capable of this? I mean, you don't really know, right? Yeah. But your gut's telling you, like, I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, I didn't think it was in character for him, but I mean, anybody's really capable of anything when it gets down to it. But just the way that she kind of handled the whole situation, and I don't know, I just find it hard to believe. But I think they're having a U.S. trial too. I
heard that.
Yeah, so I guess that they're both going to bring more evidence, and I was reading that he's going to appeal the British court case.
Which he probably should. If he's innocent, he should be pretty furious. Because if you're innocent in a case, wouldn't you be furious for being blamed for something? Especially if you're a well-known actor and you've never had like issues like this before. Like, he's never had claims against him before, right?
I think he's like trashed hotel rooms, but nothing like
domestic violence or abuse or anything crazy. They were trying to say that he like cut his finger and was writing on the wall like threats in his own, juices. So gross. And then that he did it in his pee, too. Did you read that in my show notes?
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Did you hear about that anywhere else?
I think I read about it a while back, but...
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I just read about it now, or recently, because it came up in, like, that case. So here's the thing, and then I'll let you go, but what I found weird when I was reading about this, like, how he sued the son, right?
Yeah.
Well, when it went to court and they were there, they were, like, very dismissive on all the evidence he and his lawyers had against Amber Heard. So, like, everything that she tried to say he did, he had, like, refutable evidence, like, toward, like, reputable, whatever. He was able to counter it, right? Piece by piece, like, detail by detail.
And he didn't, like, deny any of the claims that he was doing drugs during any of that time or anything either, so it's... I feel like if you were trying to lie about it, you'd lie about everything,
Well, you know what? Let's close this up, but do you agree that this relationship was just toxic anyway? It was bad for him and it was bad for her.
That's why I think we should see other people.
On that note, peace. Okay, my wonderful listeners, I want to thank all of you ever so much for being here. You are amazing and awesome and all that good stuff. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, and even follow the podcast on social media. I would love to have your feedback, like how you're liking the show and whatever suggestions you may have as far as future topics or whatever else. Podcasts are posted every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so be there. All right, guys. Until next time.